Would you rather people be impressed with your performance or your sound and light show? That's the question tonight. We're going to ask our panel. We've got old friends. We've got new friends. We've got all kinds of people here tonight. Buddy in Chicago, JC in Mexico City, Adrian E. in Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago. We've got John in Boston, Alex in Cyprus, Damon in the D, and maybe Brian. We don't know. Maybe he'll pop in. Maybe he won't. Yeah, but the question tonight is, would you rather be remembered by your performance or your sound and light show? Who would like to go first?
Yo, I'll go first. Fuck it.
Damon, you go first.
Sorry about the F-bomb.
Okay, we lost our PG rating right at the show.
I got to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Me personally, I go by performance over, especially sound and lighting. I've argued with many people. I have a nice sound system, but it's not like super high end. It's not super low end either. It's right.
Yeah, you've got a very nice sound system. Yeah, several.
So, but my performance has always been very, very good. So I put on the best show I can.
Sure.
You know, like I said, I'm not a big lighting guy, so definitely you're not gonna take notice of my lighting. So
right,
I do very minimum on lighting, but my sound is good and my performance is always good. So I go with performance over sound and lighting. That's just me.
Sure. Who else has got something to say about this?
All right, I'll go next. I think, to be honest, it's a no-brainer, because at the end of the day, you're going to do events, at some point in your life where you're not in control of the sound and you're not in control of the lighting. Say you're at a nightclub or whatever. So if your performance isn't good, first of all, you're probably not going to be there in the first place. And secondly, it's great that you might have like all the bells and whistles, and your setup looks like a mini Tomorrowland. However, if your performance isn't there, at some point that's going to show. As I said, if you're doing an event where you're not in control of anything, maybe you do a nice little like local bar. The local bar's got a couple of lights from Amazon or whatever, that just does its thing. You're not in control of that, so they're not going to like start strobing at the right time that you played this track that builds up, to make you look like Tiesto kind of thing. So I think performance over setup and lighting, is a no-brainer, as I said, for that reason.
I don't think anybody in this room thinks that sound and lighting is unimportant. I think everybody in this room can agree that they enhance performances. I guess when I think about it, I'm thinking about what should the takeaway be from your set or your gig? Should they say, wow, that was a really good set? Or should they say, wow, that looked amazing and sounded amazing? Overshadowing was the word that I was using that John liked.
Yeah, good word.
Should your light show and your sound system overshadow your performance? I'm with you guys too on performance. Please remember me for my performance.
Well, that's it. It's function over flash, the flash and dash. It's, at the end of the day, if you're there to play the music, that's the focus. Anything else is frosting on the cake. If you have a good light show, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have an okay light show, that's okay. But the focus should be on your skills, your performance, and your programming. I've worked places, some old man Irish bars, and it's wood panel brown walls and light color brown in betweens, and this place has no excitement, no life, and without lights, the place doesn't come to life. Like sometimes you gotta bring in something to change it up, so it's not just the same old what everybody's used to.
Create the ambience, absolutely.
Create something new out of what wasn't there.
Yeah.
The afternoon people would go home, the night people would come in. The night people think it's a club. The afternoon people have seen it look the same for 40 some odd years sitting at the bar, and you just try to make it a little different. So you can do that by manipulating lights. And we talked a little before the show, Brian, was that stuff didn't always exist. It wasn't always a case of we had lights. We'd go to the hardware store and put stuff on dimmer switches and wire extension cords back to us so we could turn things on and off when we wanted to. It's we created the world we wanted, and we saw that at theater. I mean, initially, the first two lights I think I bought were par spots. They weren't halogen, because halogen said we can make them brighter, but we're going to make them hotter at the same time.
That's right.
So I don't know. It was just some, car headlight lamp with 2 Phillips screws on metal things in the back that wired into this can. And I had these 2 lights, and I got a red and a green color gel, and I was happy that I could put color in a room. And then, of course, the next thing you do is you buy a mirror ball, because now you get 2 really good spotlights. Now you got put dots everywhere. I can put red dots, or green dots. Wow! I could play Albert and take them both off. Now it's white dots everywhere. But I think that adds to the ambience and is a factor to create some excitement out of it. But at the end of the day, it's really about what you play.
We were talking before the show, and I was saying that Ben Stowe sent me a DVD that he produced about the importance of lighting, and he actually brought a psychiatrist in and interviewed him about it. And he was talking about how lighting creates this unreal atmosphere that's not of this world, with colors and movement. It's not as bright as the light of day and not as bright as house lights. It's a little more dim, but it almost creates this illusion of anonymity. Did I say that word right? And so people can go onto the dance floor and dance and not feel like they're being stared at. They feel like they can make a fool of themselves because no one can see them. They're almost taken out of reality to go onto the dance floor and do things. And that's a good thing. But to overshadow the performance, to make it that big, I mean, Alex, going back to Alex, you were talking about that huge several-story setup that those DJs did on the beach with 1,500 people and 30 moving heads, 60 moving heads, whatever the heck it was.
More than that, probably 100 plus altogether.
Yeah, the show was much bigger than the performance could have ever been.
But is that what people are expecting at EDM these days? It's like with things like, Coachella, Tomorrowland, and all this kind of thing. It's like, oh, we have to have this, Walt Disney Castle, set up, with like 100 like moving heads, which are paths and washes and beams all together in one go, and like lasers. Is that like, oh, I can't go there, it's not going to be cool, nobody's going to come there and stick it on their Instagram. If it doesn't have enough lighting and then look like this, like whatever castle thing, But look what happened when Tomorrowland burnt down. I still think the stage looked good. And what was it? A video wall.
Metallica set up.
Trussing frame around the DJ booth. Wash lights on the truss. Probably 30 moving heads, but fair enough, because the stage was like about 6 miles wide.
Oh, it's huge.
So you're going to need like 30 moving heads and a video wall and some lasers. That was it.
It was Metallica's touring rig, and it's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, impressive, but not nearly what Tomorrowland had built. And it worked. Nobody complained. It was fine.
Well, if the show almost didn't go on, I mean, so someone stepped up and came through. It's like, well, I got this.
They pulled it off in 36 hours.
Yeah.
From the time they decided to do it till the showtime, 36 hours, they pulled that off. And it took them 2 years to design and build that set, to burn down 2 days before showtime. And they pulled it off, and nobody seemed to have a problem with that. Mr. DJ Adrian E. from Chicago.
Yeah.
What do you got on this?
It's like when I entertain weddings and stuff like that, primarily, it's like I go for the fact that when my clients at the end of the night say, oh, everyone had such a great time, you love the music. And I mean, the lights are a good tool. I mean, I like to help, like if it's upbeat music, you play the more flashing lights. What I like when it slows down, you play the slower pace, slower fade lights.
Yeah.
But I think primarily definitely the performance and playing the right song at the right time, getting the right crowd interaction is number one for me.
I think sound is really important too. I mean, you want it to sound right. On the other hand, if it doesn't sound so good, but the performance is amazing, that's probably okay too.
Well, like I said, what happens if you're at a venue and they go, you have to use our sound system, and we already have the lights installed?
Right. You're stuck with whatever.
You have no control over that.
I've been there.
Yep.
I've been there a lot.
Both. Yep.
You have.
The top DJs, they have their own tech crew that come in. The guy that tests out all the decks, the other guy that comes along and can see what the DJ sees and the time coding and the graphics and everything, so they know what the music's going to do before the music does it. so they know when to set things off. But I don't think any of us are at that level yet. Where we're paying a sound guy and a lighting guy, to come in and set everything up for us and knows exactly what our set's going to be. Because most of the time, we don't know what our set is because we work on the fly. So it's like a lot of the time it's you just put the light on, sound to light, it looks good. If you get the chance, you can DMX it, but then you need to start doing pre-recorded set and things like that. So it's got to be performance.
Well, clearly, the guys at Tomorrowland should really leave the pyrotechnics to Rammstein.
Oh my gosh! It's funny you mentioned that because Rammstein. I mean, they put on a crazy show. I mean, it's amazing. But I can't help but to wonder how many people go to the show for the pyrotechnics and don't really dig the music of Rammstein. I mean, I don't know anybody except maybe JC, who's a Rammstein superfan. Like Du Hast is their favorite song.
Yeah.
But I bet you there's people who go to that show.
I'm just wondering, do people go to Rammstein, to see if somebody's going to catch on fire? Like there's people
Right.
that go to Formula
I'm
One.
going to die tonight. I got to see
Every
this.
show someone gets set on
people
fire.
that go to Formula One that's like, going to see that crash. Don't they want anybody to be hurt? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people need to the fatalities, just for that like extra edge of danger.
Right. It's totally that's what it is. It's almost like a circus, the way they do it. It's like death-defying feats. There's a place on this. Yeah. There is a place that I know of that usually always seems to go over the top with sound and lighting, giant sound systems, big lighting, and that place is Mexico. Now maybe it's a little north of UJC, where that is a thing.
Yeah,
But
the thing is, for my market, it's very difficult to upsell. There's the lights, so nobody wants to pay more for lights.
Yeah.
So I always think that your performance has to be great, and to have great music and everybody dancing. It's the best to be remembered by, and
Yeah.
when you get more gigs that way, and sometimes less is more. I have some lights, they do the trick, and you don't need to overdo it.
Sure.
JC, I like how you put that, man. Sometimes less is more. I like it. That's been my model for a while on a lot of with lighting.
It has been.
And believe me, I love blinging lights, and I love the club. It's the atmosphere, but but music, it's what keeps you alive, and what you're doing in a performance is getting memories and and making new ones and making people feel they're alive again. So that's what you need to do. That's what I do.
There was a time in my life where I didn't know if I was going to be able to perform again. I lost a lot of physical stuff and the ability to set up big rigs. And I had to really do some soul searching and figure out what made me relevant in the first place. Was it my system that really anybody could own and set up? Or was it my performance? Was that really what set me apart? Was that really what made me valuable? And of course, it was my performance. And I could do that. Whether or not I could still do Jesus Arms or set up big, small production systems. So, absolutely with me. And you know who we haven't talked to? We haven't talked about it yet. Buddy's got some stuff to say about this. I know he does. And I'm dying to hear it, Buddy. What do you got?
Well, we were talking a little before this, and I feel that you're touching on saying which is more important. I feel that they're equal to each other.
I don't know that was the point that I was trying to express. And if that's what you got out of it, I apologize for not being more clear. I wasn't suggesting one was more important than the other. I was only asking, how would you like them to remember you, or what part about this do you want them to talk about? Do you want them to talk about the sound and lighting or your performance? Not that one's
again,
not important.
it's a little bit of everything, and
Of course it is.
you can't have a good DJ they can't hear you, and again, lighting enhances it a little bit, but it's not. There's not one part that's end all to be all. Now, again, performance is a key thing because if you can't DJ, if you don't pick the right songs, you don't put it in the right time, the right place, and have people have that emotional set to it, it's very difficult. But if they can't hear you because the sound's not that great, then you can be the best DJ in the world. No one can hear it. It's not going to be great. And again, lighting just adds that cherry on top of the sundae kind of feel to it. And nice lighting, it's pleasant, not blinding, not knocking people out cold. But, what do I want to be remembered as? I want to be remembered as the DJ that got people, they enjoyed themselves there. They were immersed in the event and in the night. And again, it's all that, and I said before, it's basically a triangle. All three of those, you have to have that, at least a decent understanding of everything to have that for people. But again, it starts with understanding and knowing music and being a good performer. And then you build upon that, having good quality sound and good quality lighting. And good quality lighting doesn't mean you have the most expensive lighting system in the world or most expensive speakers. It matters that you have the right amount for the event. It matters that people can hear you. You don't sound like Kenny from South Park. You're not blinding people with 30,000 moving heads. Again, I've always believed less is more with lighting. Sure. I believe less is more with stuff. And to me, quality and quantity is two different things. Having quality of everything is important. Having too much of something, it's like having a 5-gallon drum of ice cream. That I know Damon loves ice cream. If he sit there and ate a 5-gallon drum of ice cream, he probably wouldn't feel well afterwards. Versus,
overkill in the ice cream.
Yeah,
overkill.
You overindulge, and that's the thing. Having a bowl of ice cream is one thing. Having a 5-gallon bucket, that's a whole other thing.
Hold my beer. I got that.
I'm really bummed out that Brian K isn't visible right now because I just had a thought. What if Rammstein decided that they didn't want to tour anymore and they decided to sell that rig, and Debbie Gibson, Taylor Dane, and Tiffany all pitched in and bought it and started touring with that rig? I wonder if the shows would be attended the same. I wonder if it's just about the show.
Let's see if he types anything in the chat. Yeah, but I mean, that is a performance. That is theatrics. It's somewhat about music, but it's more about come see things blow up. And people want it. That's why demolition derbies exist. That's why there's, something that's got a little excitement to it.
Could that be the EDM festival thing? Not the danger part, but just the bang, zoom, wow. There's an audience for that.
You know what? I would say it is, but there's also on the other end of it, there's a lot of festivals that don't go that hard, especially with lighting at EDM festivals. They care more about the sound and the performance part of it.
Yeah.
Because our festival here in Detroit, Memorial Weekend Movement, our sound is amazing. Our light show, not minimum, but it's in the middle. There's no Tomorrowland. There's no.
You don't have the room for Tomorrowland there. I've been there.
But I'm saying.
Does more of that happen in the afternoon or in the nighttime? Because you don't need all those lights if it's a day thing,
right?
Well, we go to 12 midnight, so we get a good couple hours at nighttime.
Sure.
But they don't shoot the lights go crazy with lighting like that because we rather have sound because we start at 12 at night. We go 12 hours, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Yeah.
So we really only get about 3 hours of nighttime. So we don't really go hard with the lighting like that.
Spend the money where it makes sense to spend the money.
Yeah.
You need a good audio show for 9 hours of daylight. No one's going to see it.
It's like here for Lollapalooza. You have on you're on the lakefront. Basically, you have all these different bands coming in. They have a huge sound system. They have tons of lighting down there on the lakefront. And when that night shot on some of the news when they show it going on, you see the light basically lighting up the buildings around there. And people are there. It's very immersive. But they're also going there to see a certain band or a certain DJ. Yeah. So they're going there to see performance. They're attracted by the performance. They're staying there because of of the sound quality or the volume of sound or level of sound and the lighting. And again, they try and make this immersive thing. They always try out do every year. They try to get better, bigger and bigger and better. Yeah. And there's all different bands. It's not just one type of music. It's multiple types of music and multiple DJs. But I feel that, again, what starts it all is your cornerstone is going to be your performance. That's going to be a key part of that triangle.
I would rather be remembered for my performance. Everybody else in the room is pretty much on the same page as me.
Yeah, I am.
There are other people in the world who feel like that they would rather be remembered by their setup. And you know what? Those are production people, and that's okay. That's their jam. But we're DJs, and we're performance people, and I think this is kind of what our jam is. By the way, I'm not cutting you off, but I am cutting you off. We're sponsored by DJ Event Planner. Check out DJ Event Planner in the description of this video on YouTube to learn all about them. Thank you, DJ Event Planner, for being one of our channel sponsors. Alex, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think, a kind of analogy is like, lighting at clubs and things like this, concerts. In the beginning, if they were a razor blade, they had one blade. And now this same thing has become like the 7-bladed razor blade. It's better. The lighting is so much better than the last year that we did it because we've added 35 moving heads, 3 pyros, and 4 CO2 cannons or something. And it's just sort of like, how do we make it better? More. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, maybe I'm the only one that ever went to a 90s goth nightclub, in a warehouse, which basically was like one smoke machine, very large, full on most of the night, and a strobe at about 1,000 watts continuous, and that was it.
I love that. Adrian, do you remember Shelter? I remember Shelter.
Yeah, I recall. I've actually never been, but I recall.
Oh, sorry. I thought maybe I had a brother here. So
no, I mean we had the Shelter here in Detroit. It was the same thing.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I got Shelter stories. Mm-hmm.
Had the mist going, and a couple of spinning puke lights, and that was it. Maybe a strobe, and that was it.
There was a time I remember doing nightclubs where, they didn't even know where I was. There was impressive sound. There was good lighting, but the real show was the audience. Mm-hmm. It was watching people dance, and it was guys checking out girls and girls checking out guys and alcohol and doing things that you wouldn't normally do. It wasn't standing there staring at some sound and light show. It's just not what we did back then. Mm-hmm. So
sometimes it makes sense. Like David Gilmour said, "Hold my inflatable floating pig." Wait a second, I'm going to hold it. And he's a rock cat. That's the immersive experience. You go to see David Gilmour or Floyd. What you get is the light show. You walk out with a wow. That's kind of, they go hand in hand. Some people do it better than others, and that's like the exception to the rules to master it on both sides. But yeah, that's the light show to talk about.
I was thinking about that ELO Wembley or Bus tour that I thought was amazing. I'd never heard ELO sound that good, and they were live. And this was like 2018, maybe? And the light show was amazing, and they had these giant screens. So if you're at Wembley, you can still see clearly what's going on in these big video walls. What's going on the stage. Otherwise, they'd look like ants on the stage. Mm-hmm. So it was enhancing. It was cool, but I'm not walking away talking about the light show. I'm talking about how great ELO sounded, because that's what I got out of it. Did the light show enhance the experience? Absolutely. But it didn't overshadow it.
Right. But the other side of the coin, I know Iron Maiden just turned down a possible residency at the Sphere. And it's like, okay, well, we're a band that likes to run around on stage and jump off things. And if you're watching us from the top row, we're ants. And you're looking at, the inside of the globe, can we do that? And they just said, it just doesn't make sense for us. We're just going to show, videos or effects or whatever. But at the end of the day, band is as big as a postage stamp. Yeah, 200 rows down. So it didn't make sense for them. But some acts can do that, and others just know their limitations and go, that's not really, we're not that flash.
For me, the Sphere is a weird thing, because it's like, for me, it's more like I'd rather go there and watch a David Attenborough documentary, and be immersed amongst giraffes than try and see an artist, because the best place to be in there is up the top, so everything is down below you, above you, around you, right. Not Oh, I want to be 3 rows.
You're watching the
3
screens,
rows
not
from the
watching the
front
show.
because I want to be able to taste the saliva of the singer. Yeah, I want to be that close. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
the thing, I just saw a Backstreet Boys there. They were there at the Sphere, and they had a whole concert there. I saw it on the tubes, and it was very, very cool. Because again, they're on the stage. Yeah, you're not, but they're blown up to the whole entire Sphere. So you're taking a monitor or a video screen that's this big, and you're making it basically 180 degrees around your head. So it's like you're there in front row of the stage because they're 60 feet up on the screen, 70 feet up on the screen, almost going above you. And you can see everything they're doing because they have all these high definition cameras in 16K. So they're recording this all in very high definition, and they have this immersive sound system. But what does it start with? It goes back to that triangle. The keystone is who's the talent. And again, if someone doesn't feel that it's their thing, that's fine and great. But the Sphere, anyone, if you get a chance to, watch some of the videos in there for inside some of the performers. U2's been there. There's been a bunch of other ones, and it's very, very interesting. If I ever get a chance to go out to Vegas, I would definitely go out and check out a show. And it's not cheap either, but I would definitely go check one out.
The real question here, buddy, is who's your favorite Backstreet Boy? I can't name one, so that's. I just wondered if you
I have a favorite.
The short guy.
Is there a guy named Joey?
One of the guys looks like a guy who I worked with. This is going back many, many moons ago at Blockbuster Video. He was another manager.
Okay.
And people would stop him, ask for his autograph at like any place public that he wasn't wearing a uniform because they thought he was one of the Backstreet Boys. And usually it's like a lot of young girls, and he would stop and they're like, okay, and make them happy. And, this is, 1999, 2000, 2001. So this is the height of their, excitement. And it was one of the things that, working with him, he was a cool dude, but, I can't remember which Backstreet Boy he looks like. I had to look.
Note to self: never ask Buddy a rhetorical question. Okay, sorry. You said that. Big that note. Put it aside. Good show, guys. Great show, guys.
Good stuff.
I want to thank everybody for coming from all over the world tonight to be a part of this broadcast. And if you're out there watching this, please let us know what your opinions are in the comment section. If you don't share ours, that's okay. We're still friends. It's all a matter of your interpretation or opinion. And we're not hating on production people here. We're not hating on that at all. My big thing is, personally, like I said, and this is just me, I just don't want any of my stage production to overshadow my performance. That's all. That's all. I don't want that. So either I got to do less is more, or I got to do a lot more to compensate for the big production that's behind me.
Unless you can make it rain on command like Prince.
Like Prince. Can you make it rain harder?
Yeah, sure.
That was real lightning that was coming in on the intro of that. And you saw it and you heard the thunder. Oh my gosh. And Prince was the example that I gave in the video that I shot today, where I think most would agree that it was the best Super Bowl halftime show anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing stage, and there was pyrotechnics and all kinds of great things going on, amazing things going on, but no one's talking about that. They're talking about the performance. That's what made it great. Somebody tried to argue with me. No. It was the setup. It was the production. That's all anybody really cared about. If that's true, all you had to do was bring a bigger production show to the Super Bowl halftime show, and you would have the crown of the best Super Bowl halftime show.
And that's been tried, and they still haven't topped it.
They can't do it. Nobody can do it. Everybody's compared to Prince. It's not Prince. I would like to suggest that people stop talking about Prince so somebody can enjoy the halftime show again, because the bar is we set the bar too high. You can't succeed because you're going to be compared to him, because it was just that great, and it was the performance.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Well, it wasn't
obviously,
Prince.
if you want to recreate that moment, sort of like you just bring in those, I don't know what they're called, the Tesla poles, where they have like the lightning just going from one pole to the other.
Well, that would be cool.
Those in,
I kind of like that.
Giant plasma bowls that you put your hands on and your hair stands on end.
JC, can you get on something like that for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume production in Mexico's, manufacturing would be cheaper than here, so maybe that'd be the way to go.
Okay.
Tesla coils. That's where the
Tesla
money.
coils. Yeah. It sounds like something JC would do. He's a smart guy.